Hi folks, welcome to the final event of the 8th season of the Friendly Open Tournament Series. We have 2 games remaining, so just the semifinals and the final. And I can show you what the situation is. So the games have just started. We have Superduck playing against Alex. We'll check the factions and agendas in a second, because these might not be correct. And we have the other pairing is Neil against Marcel, and we'll be watching one of these 2 games today. And let's see, so we have Neil playing Tyrell Crossing against Marcel's Tyrell the Reigns of Castamere, and the other game Alex is playing Martell Knights of the Hollow Hill, and we'll see in a second what Superduck is playing. It's one of those tournaments again where we had the Swiss round and players were allowed to change decks for the cut. So the information here is in some cases incorrect. But we saw a lot of Tyrell in the cut. Some of the players that lost in the quarterfinals also were playing Tyrell, this many-faced god deck with Randall Tarley, very strong these days. And we have Kings of Summer deck, I think we had, that was also the same, and not sure about this one with Banner Line. I guess that might be more of a Kingsguard deck. So that's the deck to beat at this point in time, I guess. And okay, so information was correct. Superduck is indeed playing Greyjoy Fealty. So I guess we'll look at this one first, since it might be a quicker game, I suspect. And we are already in round 1, the challengers phase. And what's the situation? Lots of characters, the knights on the crossing side, and we have Old Town and Mace, who can of course sort the top of the deck to guarantee that Old Town triggers, but nothing else yet. I don't think this deck is necessarily playing Randall Tarley. I played against it in the quarterfinals, so it had Mattis Rowan and this passive power with Old Town and Golden Grove, so might not be playing Randall Tarley. So it could be that all of those decks are already out in this event. Yeah, you can see the different intentions here. So we have Beholder Bounty with spies and small councils to raise claim, and we have Lady Sansa's Rose Rush card for knights and ladies on the other side, and yeah, we do have a lady with all the knights present. And we have the first card of our Reigns deck, the Pointy End. Not sure what the deck includes, but there are 2 plots that I know of that were played against me. And running out of board a bit, but this isn't really the type of deck that would press the advantage with March to the Wall, I don't think. Six-cost Marjorie. She does like Wildfire Assault, so I guess that's one of the Reigns plots here. Can do some surprises. Some useful cards discarded, so hand must be pretty decent. Okay, and we have an early Morgulis here. That's going to kill some of the renowned stuff against heads on spikes. So that hits a character with only 4 cards in hand. It's growing strong. Okay, so first snow is in Marcel's deck, I know that, and I guess with 3 characters already in play with cost 4, it wouldn't have done any good work here, so early Morgulis makes sense. And now if small characters enter play, then that first snow will serve as another pretty useful reset. And that's exactly what happens. Now it's going to be difficult against the claim race. Yeah, so he just basically waits around with no board. He's going to lose all 3 challenges and concede. No, he's not going to concede the crossing because Nico is lacking an intrigue icon, but 2 unopposed and power claim and dominance, so that's and 1 renown, that's going up to 9, is it? Knight of Flowers, the 4 cost version, so okay. I wonder if he now tries with first snow. That leaves unprotected Garland in play, which you can then try to kill. And we have this Iron Throne, interesting. Oh, okay. Going for the gold to establish a board first. Against you win or you die. Name's the Queen of Thorns. Queen of Thorns in a Tyrell crossing deck. Which version would that even be? The core one? Could be the one that gets events, I guess. So we have a non-kneeling knight for crossing, still a board that's not going to do well against first snow. So if first snow was played now, against you win or you die, all of these characters would be wasted. I think it would have been a nice play, but it still could be if Marcel survives. And Marjorie is alright because she can deal with the 2-claim military. She can just replace Littlefinger with something else if she survives, so something else needs to come into play here. Although could be 3-claim military with this guy. Well, if she's skilled, she won't be in play for her reaction to trigger. So she needs to survive and 2-claim plot, and Sir Raymond Hui or whatever, however he is pronounced. It's a problem. He's not now going to try to draw something. And that's a 2-coster. Needs one more. And finds it. Okay, so just about enough to survive with Marjorie in play, but one lord only, so that means when Littlefinger is killed... what's happening now? Standing all down, okay. When Littlefinger is killed, he can be replaced with something like Randall Tarley, for instance, or Renly Baratheon. And leaving the ambush for the challenges phase, that will trigger High Tower again. Yeah, Nico's just going to trigger it. No reason not to. Just have them all killed and see what happens. Still has the non-kneeling knight to do intrigue and then a big power challenge. And there's the ambush. Now what does he do with bestow here? And nothing, okay. He had no gold, did he? So High Tower triggers after that to gain the 1 gold. And now what does Marjorie do? Does she bring in Renly? We have the honey wine also to quicken the power gain. It's another problem. There he is, however, doesn't solve all the problems. Now Nico is going to have 2 claim power with crossing and renown, and he's on 11, so if this can be defended. Now this one does not currently trigger the honey wine, so let's say this one is unopposed. That gets him to 12, and then he can attack with 10 against 11 if there are no more surprises. What does he do? He can interact with gold, but there isn't any, okay. I think Marcel needs to let this one go unless he has more tricks in hand. Now he, of course, I think the thing he was considering here was whether he could defend and trigger Reigns in some way, but not sure what he could do on defense that then also stops the power challenge from going through. And Mace was already dead, I think. Randall, it's a pretty big loss. Okay, and we have a 10 strength power, this one needs to be defended, and if there is any kind of strength boost, that's game over. Otherwise, here we go. Yeah. Is there one on the other side? There isn't. Okay. Just about had enough. Yeah, nicely done. So interesting. If he'd gone for first snow, he would have had very little economy. Of course, not sure if he could even do anything. Certainly nothing that would survive Sir Garland doing a military challenge. But yeah, these two would, and Aemon would have gone back to hand with 0 reserves. So I wonder how the game would have gone from there. Interesting nonetheless. So we have our first finalist, Nico, with Tyrell crossing, and now let's see how the other game is going. If it's still going, should be. This Knights of the Hollow Hill does not lose quickly. Well, it could lose quickly, but if it doesn't, then it takes the whole 55 usually. And what's the situation? So we have, yeah, about what you would expect. We have Dorn with a full hand and a couple of chuds, and on the other side also looks about right. We have Asha protected with Sweet Sleep. We have Euron currently seems without Intimidate. Meister Morenmor and Alex still marshalling, and a big set of economy locations. Now this deck I don't know that well, but I don't think it's playing Political Disaster. Sometimes these decks can afford it because they can go low on economy with the +3, but if you're playing the economy that Nils instead of provides the gold boost, so these Blood Orange Groves and Dornish Fiefdoms, then you can go pretty wide with locations yourself, and then PD doesn't really work in your favor that much. And yeah, we have Nothing Burns. I wonder what that did at the start of the round. So that was just before we joined the game. Let's see. There was a reason an Ironfleet Scout on one side and the Iron Throne, the core one, discarded on the other side. Doesn't look too impactful. And I guess plan pretty straightforward now. For Superduck, he's just going to do the challenges. And yeah, Alex is going to do his Viper Eyes and Vengeance and Dorn triggers. 3 gold left, could also have some ambush still. And Asha, yeah, getting pretty big now, so 5 cards. She's going to find answers. This Greyjoy deck, if you can stop it, you have a chance against it. It's not as resilient as Stark, that just keeps coming back with those. Even if you reset it, it plays Summer and gets another child back and stuff like that. And then the Bear Island Scouts. But also this deck with the Greyjoy Bigs is pretty resilient. It's tough to completely get rid of it, even if you play a reset control deck that plays the Stranger, Morghulis, possibly the Harris, all in the same deck. It's going to be tough. Okay. So, do we have Vengeance in hand? We do not. So Bastard Daughter takes one card from hand, and Trick Claim will take another, so down to 4 cards. And Asha is duped. And still the possibility of another save, so Mongolis now, for instance, would be... Oh, we have... do we have Arias? No, we have this in the challenges phase still, so... Jagan Hagar, okay. So... yeah, that's going to eat through the saves, if there are any. Could just go for Euron, see if there is a reason in hand. Or it could go for Asha before Morgulis and try his luck here. Of course, it's not really luck for Alex because he played his Viper Eyes, so he knows the hand, most of it anyway. What was the sequence there? I think Asha searched once after the Viper Eyes trigger, so there is a mystery card unless it was Victorian. And I wonder, actually, with Unique Meister in play, Outwit also is a possibility. Fanatic, so decent chance that that was the mystery card that Asha searched for. Okay, so the Meister dies, which means probably not going to be Outwit in the blood deck here. And Alex is doing well. He's equalized on power after all of this, and of course has the bigger hand. Superduck quite quick to select his plot. So Alex, of course, won the World Championship this year with the Greyjoy Fealty deck, so he knows this deck as well as anyone. But Superduck also a very strong player and of course could have a surprise or two. Although I think the plot deck is usually, in this Greyjoy deck, is now pretty stable. You can always kind of predict Brand the Builder opening and then Nothing Burns and Morgulis for sure. I guess players that play Greyjoy more would list one or two plots that also would likely be in the deck. And that is the second Brand the Builder. So with double Brand the Builder, I'm guessing maybe Pike is... or is it... what's the restricted situation now? Is Asha restricted along with pike possibly, so not playing pike. Because of course if you found warships with Brand the Builder in the past with pike in play, you could just ambush them immediately, so we always make that comparison with building orders. So this one is a lot more popular these days. Brand the Builder has 1 more gold, but of course the draw is delayed. You can and dependent on winning challenges, so you're not getting your allocation immediately, but with pike in play in Greyjoy, that disadvantage is no longer there, so it's a good plot for them. And we have more draw on the other side, so I guess draw and resets is the plan. Blocking economy with the Iron Throne. Another popular card recently, especially I think for the Chinese players. But I think actually Alex also in his deck does play this Iron Throne. And yeah, top players can certainly make use of it because they know all the decks and they know the right call to make. Although on this occasion we see 2 economy cards coming out, so calling Dornish Fiefdom didn't really work. Calling Dorn, if you have it in round 1, to stop it ever coming into play would be a pretty good one, I think. Because that draws so much, especially against decks that are forced to do challenges if they have any chance of winning. And Nymeria is going to cause problems. However, we have 6 gold, but no ambush with the locations, so I wonder. Maybe just bad luck also, reducers that are still standing. Maybe just some awful luck here for Superduck. It has nothing in hand. There's almost no neutral ambush. Greyjoy doesn't even have any, but in the characters, I mean, neutral you would only have Balerion the cat, I think, and what's that character with no icons? Faceless Man. However, there could be stuff with this unopposed challenge now. We do not so on Dorn, for instance, would be nice. Or the Bloody Cup. And here we go. However, here we go. Yeah, Hans Judgment Loop. Is there another one? There isn't, so Dorn is gone. So even with no characters in hand, you can still have useful cards. Now is there another trigger? We are still in the reaction window. Okay, so takes Blackwind. Asha's ship, that's going to give her renown if she stays in play long enough. And what does he do with the Great Kraken? He draws 1 card, okay. He's not going for the power because he probably knows that more resets are coming, and then if he has no cards in hand, there is no way to win against this Martell deck. And with Great Kraken and the Asha trigger, things are looking slightly better. Okay. Nightmares on Nymeria. Maybe that was the card that was just found, so triggering that earlier could have been an idea for Alex. Now this means that maybe Euron will just try to defend the military challenge. Otherwise it's a tough situation. If Euron is claimed, then there probably is March to the Wall in this deck. And if Asha is claimed, then we have two unprotected characters and Morgul is still unplayed. But never mind, going for the military challenge. Even against the Water Gardens trigger and potential for vengeance in hand. Ah, of course, silence also still standing. Maybe should have come into play because it has a trigger that could work with Euron, couldn't it? No, actually, he doesn't have pillage this version. Now desperately needs another Hand's Judgment. Doesn't have it. But he does have Risen. So we had one discarded for Nothing Burns, I think. Did we not? Maybe not. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one in the discard pile, and we have one on Asha, so that's two of the three gone. Now, is there any way for Alex to do a military challenge here? It's another Victarion gone with all of these economy locations. With 0 gold, I don't think even Martell can do much. And now we have all the used plots already filled, so I think we're getting March to the Wall. It's going to march Euron and the escort. And this is not a card that Superduck wanted to lose. That would have cancelled Nymeria again. Westeros against siege preparations with 7 reserves, so stuff will be coming out. And what's the situation here? So Euron can take anything, of course, if he if you sacrifice him for that effect. Can't take the Iron Throne because there is one in play. He could take Dorne. That would be decent enough in a really long game when Hollow Hill starts to take control if you have a constant draw, but of course when stuff finds its way into the dead pile, it's things get difficult. On the other hand, Martell has some of these non-uniques and Misty Morn and stuff like that, so survives these resets a little bit better in the really long games, I think. And Superduck calls Dorne. So maybe that is the plan. Has a stand for Euron if there is a warship in hand. And there must be, because he's just marshaled one. And that's a raider. Means you can use it to get a location, nothing cheap, unfortunately. But also Euron gains Intimidate. Now it's in this discard pile. Nothing of great use. Anything else? Silences crew and has the gold to bestow it if he likes. And now we're getting to the point, I think, where Morghulis will be played on both sides. Speculating, of course, that Greyjoy plays it. So what do? You kind of have to marshal stuff with siege preparations, otherwise draw is not going to be much. So goes for Varys, and the cancels are gone, I think. Chances are that they're gone. Asha might still draw. And that could, well, get rid of this dupe. That's what it's going to do, because the other characters are unprotected, so they die in any case. And I strongly suspect the other plot is marched to the wall. So if Varys discards everything and Asha stays in play, then Marched could be played, I guess. And that leaves Morghulis as the 7th plot. Now, is he taking the Dorne, is the question. He is. Now with Venomous Blade killing the Eager Deckhand, that means Euron has lost the Intimidate now. Is this one a raider? It is, okay, never mind. And of course this one we knew was in hand from the previous round, so... Okay, we have more renown, we have potentially more draw, have big strength, and we have Intimidate, so The challenges game going alright. However, we have defenders on the other side to stop the unopposed challenges, and then the Varys trigger is going to be problematic, I think. For Superduck, I can't see him getting super close to victory here. Yeah, sometimes connection can be pretty slow, and of course you want to play optimally. But with 16 minutes left, I think Alex feels like the game could turn in his favor if he has a chance to play a few more rounds. But I think it's enough time anyway. If he has Marched and Morghulis and Superduck has Morghulis, those plots will be revealed, and then if Superduck has no more board, it should swing in Alex's favor. Whatever happens, I think. Or maybe not, so power challenge. No more power icons on the other side. And another unopposed and renown on Asha. If he could find something like the Bloody Cup to get rid of Varys. Asha's going to trigger after claim, of course. And now he uses Great Kraken to gain power. It's tough to make these decisions. Of course, if he'd used it to gain power before, he would be on 14 in theory, but of course he wouldn't have these cards. So it would be much more difficult to get these challenges through. I think he's played it pretty well here. Grabs another card, which probably will be lost now. It's Victorian again. I think there was a theoretical chance to defend him, so if he... Ah no, actually I thought there was a Fanatic in the dead pile. They're all in the discard pile. Alright, so 13-5, and here comes the Varys, presumably. Yeah, and guessing Asha is getting marched, so now these cards will be swinging back against Greyjoy, but Doran will keep drawing. Okay, she's just going to get her with Morghulis against Return to the Fields, which at least keeps her alive if she's drawn again. Plenty of gold to Marcel whatever these cards are. What he needs, of course, is to push some challenges through and get to 15. And there isn't that much economy on the other side, so you can't just play Starfall and Dornish Spice and stuff like that to negate the phase entirely, like you would if you had a decent gold plot. It's a good call. Can be ambushed, of course, but it's not going to kill this guy before he can do a challenge. Well, I said there wasn't that much gold, but still collects 7. He collected 5, and then Water Gardens makes something free. Has the agenda boost and the economy location, so it's a pretty healthy amount of gold, and it's going to do all that's needed here. He can just take the icon, and he can do challenges back without claim then. So we're going into another round, I think. Doesn't look like the type of deck that could play Doran's game. He has the used plots, of course, and the gold, but he doesn't have the strength. He would need the Prince's Plan, I think, to have any chance of that. Which is a card that could be in such decks, but I don't think it is. Now do you do a challenge without claim? Seems like you need all the power you can get, but doesn't want to feed Dorn, I guess, and okay, and that means he can search for a card now, because he is the owner, so he gets more economy into play. And now we might see Morgulis from the other side, if I've guessed correctly. And what is left here? Probably march to the wall. That should take this guy into the discard pile, but use plots going down to 0, so maybe he won't even do that. Maybe he opts to go second, we'll see. If you let Greyjoy go second, of course you deny some of its cards that only work when you're first player, but of course it denies your own cards like Dornish Fiefdom and cards that you can use in a surprising way, like the Venomous Blade, when you see what has come into play. Let's see if that gets called again with the Iron Throne. I don't think it will be, because Alex is going first, so can't really use it in marshalling. So something... he's going to try to guess something, and he guesses that Ariane could be in hand, and she could be. Basically works as 2 characters, so never a bad call. Lysa probably just going to survive for now with her power icon, and then if needed can play Morgulis or the Stranger again. Actually the Stranger can't really orchestrate a situation where she would necessarily die, I don't think. Hello to the chat, we have 2 viewers. Is that Connor? Is it? If you would like to commentate on with me on this game, you are welcome to join me. It's getting a bit lonely here. Okay, so we have nothing for Superduck. There was gold for Balon, wasn't there? And he is still alive. Interesting. I guess ambush into Starfall taking the military icon would have been certain death, so not risking that. Getting closer to 15 power and closer to those 55 minutes. Yeah, unsurprisingly, we have draw with all the icon. Just going for the cards, and we take Westeros. Interesting. So I guess Brand the Builder has drawn everything, and not sure what else he could have really done here. And this time he collects the gold without using the Iron Throne. Which means that Venomous Blade could come into play and kill that little reducer. Yeah, okay, 2 characters, 1 Starfall. There is a Raider again. Just draw on this side, and yeah, you could take Dorn again. It's too late for that now, I think. Just need to focus on the challenges. And we have Begging Brother. To cancel 1 trigger, for instance, Asha looking for something useful would be 1 to cancel. And if Superduck thinks about this situation, then I guess this could be the final round. Now 7 gold. Oh, okay, so he's going to call something, yeah, I was going to say Arias or Shadow City Bastard or Dornish Spy are the cards that can come into play and cause problems. Maybe Southern Messenger as well. So yeah, can't get them all. I think chances are that more than one of those is in hand. And okay, that's not a good sign for Alex. Playing secret schemes just to draw one. Maybe Superduck guessed correctly. And if he does a power challenge with, of course, the Ironfleet Scouts, and this is the final round, then maybe Alex is out of time to turn it around. And he's not taking the power icon, he's taking the intrigue icon. That means Asha can do military. Of course she doesn't want to because of Lysa, and or she could do power. Just the 4. He has the scouts, but there is stuff in hand. Oh, nice one. It's going to stop power being moved. And it stays 12-9. Now Asha is probably not doing another challenge. She could do military, which is risky. Or is she? She's doing it. Okay, so if Lysa gets killed, that leaves it on, let's say, 13 because of the unopposed in theory. So it would be 13-9. And then if there is ambush in hand, I think Alex, if he has a power icon that can come into play, would just about have enough, although there is also the Great Kraken. So now Asha needs to be removed because she has renown, so Lysa has to be killed. Lysa has to be killed and remove Asha. And then we have an intrigue and a power challenge in theory, both unopposed. Would be 13 with dominance also. Then it goes to cards in hand. Could there be more than one character coming into play? With 4 gold it's difficult. Not even the power icon coming into play, so not enough time to turn it around here. Yeah. He was missing another effect that could take an icon, I think. If he took both power icons, it would have swung in the other direction here. And offering to play on, very sporting. It wasn't particularly slow, I don't think so. I think this is a fair result after 55 minutes, but so March, this is the last one. I could play Morgulis or the Stranger. Morgulis with no claim when you are already losing. Not that great. He could play the Stranger, kill this guy, lose one of these two, presumably the Begging Brother. But Superduck only needs 1 power, so... . Okay. I suppose we have time. Nothing burns to get rid of the venomous blade, maybe. That's been causing a lot of problems, killing characters outside of resets. We could have another draw here, another coppers maybe, rather than the stranger. Missed with both suggestions. Okay, coppers on this side with plenty of icons, so whatever is still alive, and to be fair, none of the main characters are dead yet, so decent chance. And okay, plenty of gold on this side, but venomous blade stays in play for now. And well, since Alex presumably thought that the last round was of course the last that time would expire, we can guess that he has nothing in hand at the moment that is useful to him. So no ambush that takes icons, no power icons to play, so he too needs to draw well here. And now, yeah, two of the last of the giants characters already dead. For gold, but it's really 9 with all the reductions. Or 10 now. Balon, the non-kneeling one. And the Nigga deckhand just paid for. The non-kneeling one, okay, protected with Sweet Sleep, but Starfall and another effect could still get rid of his icons. Now the one that put something into play from the discard pile would have been really nice. It's not a great selection, to be fair. Secret Schemes again for just the 2 cards. Yeah. These decks used to draw a lot more before all the restrictions. Of course, at the gates into Galtown at the start for some Martell decks was the dream. Immediately you got Secret Schemes with 1 more. Not sure about this particular deck, of course, because you're not getting the gold boost, so if you put those cards into the deck, it's a bit of a waste. certainly worse, and then we saw other agendas, even Battle of the Trident, just used with that same tactic to get as many plots in the used pile as possible. So we have Arias just marshaled, so he might have been in hand last time, and we have a standing Iron Throne that could have called him, so this time he's just going for more characters in play immediately. And if he takes Balon's, he has to take both icons because of his renown. Can't let him push a challenge through. So what is there to be done with that 6 gold, and will Superduck call it, is the question. Dornish Spy, Southron Messenger. Maybe Shadow City Bastard, but it's not going to stop Balon. Dornish Spy. Okay, that solves one problem. What about the other? Can he be defended? 7, but there are 2 scouts and stealth, right? Yeah. And even with burning on the sand and stuff like that, it's not enough. Unopposed will just do it, and Renown would have done it as well. Any other tricks that I'm missing that could be triggered here? He's going to take a card for Dorn, just to see, I guess. Yeah, great Kraken. That's 15. So I wonder, he has a full hand and he has 14 cards left. None of the characters that take icons away are in the discard pile. There's one Shadow City Bastard in the dead pile, so I'm guessing he's just unlucky to have a bunch of them left in the last 14 cards. If he is indeed playing them, I think he probably is. Or maybe Hotach was the plan last time and got called for the Iron Throne, and Dornish Spy was the plan this time. And if that was indeed the case, then Superduck called it absolutely perfectly. And yeah, again, should mention that it was a very fair play here to offer to play the game out, even though he did win on time earlier. So Superduck makes the final against Nico, and we'll bring you that in a minute. I think I need to pair it first, so give me a second.